Folks, you should hear this answer that Senator and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton gave regarding the question this young lady asked at this Democratic town hall in South Carolina. This was asked just moments ago, and here it is right now.
Completely, yeah. Kyla, what's your question for the Secretary?
Well, good evening. Recently, I started wearing my hair natural, and
I'm sorry, you started what?
Recently, I started wearing my hair natural, and I've noticed a difference in the way some people address and look at me. In the wake of things like Ferguson and Black Lives Matter and the recent backlash against Beyonce for her Formation video, there have been a lot of racial tensions recently in our nation. So my question to you is, what do you intend to do to help fix the broken racial relations in our nation?
Well, Kyla, first of all, thank you for being so candid and brave to stand up and say this about yourself, because I think it really helps to shine a spotlight on what are one of the many barriers that still stand in the way of people feeling like they can pursue their own dreams, they can be who they are, they can have the future that they want in our country. And I believe strongly we have to deal with systemic racism, and systemic racism is found in our criminal justice system, it's found in housing, in job opportunities, in education, and it's also cultural. And so there are barriers that people are encountering that I think we need to be honest about. You know, I just came from Central Baptist Church with Mothers of the Movement. I think they might be here. And yes, they are. You know, I'd want them to stand up if you don't mind. I mean, these are the bravest women. You know, these 5 women have lost children to police actions and to random, senseless gun violence. And there's no doubt that in each case, as they said at the church earlier, there is a racial component to it. A young black teenager, 17 years old, playing the music in his car too loud with a bunch of his friends, and a white guy comes up and tells him to turn the music down. They exchange words. The man pulls out his gun and kills him. So we have serious challenges, and I think it's important for people, and particularly for white people, to be honest about those and to recognize that our experiences may not equip us to understand what a lot of our African American fellow citizens go through every single day. So for me, when I talk about breaking down all the barriers that stand in the way of people's ambitions and dreams, racism, along with economic issues, educational issues, and all the rest, have to be addressed. Otherwise, you know, we are never going to be the nation we should be. We're never going to overcome our legacy, you know, dating back to slavery, segregation, Jim Crow. It is still, unfortunately, alive and well. And you've got places in this state where an African American baby has a higher rate of dying than you have in a lot of other places. The infant mortality rate can be compared to some third world poor countries. You know, in this state, your governor and legislature wouldn't extend Medicaid, and so people can't get the health care that they deserve to have. So I think there are a lot of barriers that we have to be honest about. And I think honesty and willingness to listen to each other, actually respect each other, would go a long way toward us rolling up our sleeves and dealing with a lot of these issues and giving you the feeling that you have a right to wear your hair any way you want to. That's your right. Now, you know,
You look great.
as somebody who, you know, has had a lot of different hairstyles, I say that from some personal experience.
I'm just happy to keep my hair. That's my whole. You know, Kyla mentioned Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Beyonce for a second, because why not? You know, specifically what happened at the Super Bowl halftime performance. It upset a lot of men and women in the law enforcement community. They felt that they were targeted, and they feel that this is one of many anti-police messages. And now there's this resulting call. Don't buy her CDs. Don't support her because she does not support the police. Do you understand where they're coming from? Do you agree? And how do you in terms of reconciling these points of view?
You know, look, I think there are an enormous number of police officers in our country that perform honorably every single day. They put themselves in harm's way. They connect with the communities they are sworn to protect. And we should show them all the respect that they have earned and deserve. But we have problems in our criminal justice system in a lot of places that we can't ignore. And, you know, put aside any particular celebrity or any particular song or performance, the fact is that we have too many instances here in South Carolina. We had Walter Scott, North Charleston. There was a young white teenager, if I believe right, Zachary Hammond, who was unarmed and killed in a police action here in South Carolina. We have lost too many young people. So what's the answer? I don't think the answer is for us to find ourselves in opposing camps where we're just going to be looking at each other with, you know, mistrust. We have to figure out how we're going to lift up the good practices, reform policing, provide more support so that force is a last resort, not a first choice. And that means helping to train police so that, you know, when they go out on the streets, I'm sure they're nervous and scared too. So how do we create a better understanding about how to deal with different situations that de-escalate instead of escalate? You know, one of the mothers here, you know, lost her son. Several police officers were asked to move him out of a public park. They said, no, he has a right to be in a public park. And this happened in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Maria Hamilton's here. Her son was Dontre. And so, no, we're not going to move him out. But one police officer who knew somebody who was in, you know, the restaurant that wanted him moved, showed up. And, you know, so he started beating this young man with a baton. And when the young man, you know, tried to protect himself and grab the baton, you know, the officer pulled out his gun and shot him. Now, and, you know, numerous times. So we've got to come to grips with the fact that we've got to do some retraining here. We've got to do some work to make sure that our police are understanding how best to deal with situations where somebody's not armed, somebody's sitting on a park bench, and he's ended up dead. You know, so there is work to be done, and I think the right response is let's respect the police, let's be sure that we hold up those who are doing the right things and protecting us, and let's try to help more police follow that example, and then let's hold police behavior accountable so that there's an incentive for people to change how they are doing police practices. And you know, President Obama had a policing commission, and, you know, I embrace all of their recommendations, and as president, you know, I would try to work with the police and work with the community and work with victims of violence, getting everybody together, because what we want to do is stop this from happening again. We want to save lives. We want to prevent any other mother from going through what these mothers have gone through, and that would be my goal as president.
Have another go.
Okay.
Sal Horn.
Okay, what'd you think, Ma, of her
I
answer?
thought that she was brilliant
Yeah.
in talking about it, because she didn't like do like what is this guy's name in New York, Giuliani or whatever his name is?
Rudy Giuliani.
That guy is just downright racist,
Yeah.
and he's really a bad problem for our country, and he really needs to work with his GOP friends, because all of a sudden you've got the GOP, and then they're appearing as if they just like blacks to no end.
Yeah.
I mean, and us out here, you're wondering what in the world's going to happen to our country, because you got these people that just hate us. And all Beyonce was doing is just bringing an issue up about the Black Panthers. And if you're as old as I am, you actually know some of the bad practices against the Panthers, and you know that they didn't do things right either. But you know that it was totally unfair that they were killed in their sleep. I mean, so that's all. Beyonce is young. She was taught probably the part where they were killed in their sleep. And that resonates back. The Black Panthers opened up schools for black kids, helped them with tutoring. Some of the most educated professors and things in California worked really hard with them getting breakfasts where black kids didn't have any money to have breakfast. We remember the good things. So when you start talking about people, talk about the good and the bad. Hillary Clinton, I will be voting for her because she knows how to do this. And if Obama had not won, I don't know what I would have done because I was voting for her, and then something terrible happened, and they didn't let her listen to whatever was going on, and she went down the wrong path, and black folks didn't vote for her, and a lot of young white folks didn't vote for her, and the young generation were looking for Obama to bring them out of that mess, and then the Republicans stopped them from doing it. So what are we going to do now? Well, in my case, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to pray because God's going to take care of this. You just watch all the stuff that begins to happen. The good Lord is going to take care of it. That's what I'll leave you with.
Thanks, Mom. I thought that was Hillary Clinton's race speech, and the only other person who gave a speech on race who was running for anything that was better was Barack Obama. You know, so I'll give it to her because I have to be honest with you, I didn't think she had it in her. I have to be honest. I didn't think she had it in her. So there you go.
Told you about Clinton. Hey, that's my girl.
There you go, Mom.
That's my girl.